Right. Welcome back to the Sober Broker. Today we have Bill DeVore. Bill, I've been looking forward to this for quite a while. I've heard your story through snapshots and things, but reading over, the intake form, it's eye-opening to see what you've accomplished over the years of not only going through and surviving your addiction, but now to completely thriving in real estate and in life. And I have to say, man, I'm extremely happy for you.
Thank you.
There's not many people who have, gone through similar avenues, and most certainly not many people who have survived, 110 miles an hour crash that you had with a car through your addiction and DUIs or DWIs, excuse me, and completely just going through it, man. You fell into a 35-foot ravine. You spent, a couple days in jail, and you spent 28 days in a rehab facility. And now you are 8 years sober. You still attend 4 to 5 AA meetings a week, which is inspiring because I feel like most people in your shoes would just say, I'm good.
Yeah.
And now you've been the #1 agent with Keller Williams for 3 years.
3 years in a row.
That's awesome. So, man, I want to dive right into this.
Yeah.
First of all, welcome to the Sober Broker.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. Whenever you were, before your addiction, who were you? What did you want to become? Tell me a little bit about your identity before the addiction happened.
Yeah, good question. So this will be the first, it'll be 8 years sober, July 25th this year. And I will officially be sober longer than I drank. I drank alcoholically for 7 years. And I always laugh and joke and say I did about 20 years worth of drinking in 7 years. And, but I've been a PGA professional for 13 years this year, 14 years. And that was what I wanted to do. I never really got into trouble. I never really did anything. Growing up as a kid, had a good family life. My dad and I did not have a great relationship always, but got better as time went on. And didn't make the high school basketball team, so tried out for the golf team. Why not? Why not do that? Never been on a golf course. Thankfully, there was 8 spots, 6 people tried out, and I made the team. And actually got good at golf. Was all conference my junior and senior year, and then went to college for it. So I have a degree in professional golf management, and then got out of that, started teaching. Done a lot of teaching, a lot of kids, and I had 80 kids in a junior golf program once. I've taught everybody. Adam Levine came to me for golf lessons one year. And I became a PGA member, certified in teaching and coaching, and was going to do that for the rest of my life. And that didn't happen. I started drinking and drugging and got fired from just about every job that I ever had in the golf business. And because it didn't show up. I look back on it today, like if I brought that same mentality there into the real estate world, I'd be out of this too in 2.7 seconds. And but yeah, I was going to be the golf pro. I worked in public golf, private golf, really high end, the club at Longview in Charlotte. I was the golf pro there for a long time. And and then one night, all that, actually two specific times that all changed, but the last one had more repercussions.
I can assimilate with that. I was a college athlete too, played soccer through college, and that was all I wanted to do. And so after, very similar, drugs and drinking started coming into play and really began to shape my identity in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't think about it, when you're embarking on that, but years down the road, it's kind of what you become versus what you've been doing. So how did that become a dependency for you? Just through the stress of what you were doing or the lack of becoming what you wanted to become?
Both. I think it was I think there's a common theme, even from when I was a kid to when I was drinking, wasn't good enough. And I think that stemmed from, yeah, I think that stemmed from a lot of things. Um, but when I was drinking, oh, it made me more fun. It made me more a part of. And, I just didn't know how to be a part of. So I had to figure out ways to do it. And drinking made me a part of. I fit in, I could drop my problems at the door, that bar, and then pick up a few more on my way out. Um, but I fit in, and it was like everything I did. Like I put everything I could into golf. I made $13 an hour working at the best club in town, and can't make it on that. And um, it's a party life too. It really is. It's just a party life, and um, when you have an addictive personality like myself, that does not go hand in hand together. Um, and it just turned ugly quick. My first DUI came back in like 2015, 2016, and didn't have very many repercussions from that. Um, I think I had a $500 fine, and they sentenced me to 5 AA meetings. And I thought that was the worst punishment that could ever happen to anybody. I had to go to 5 meetings in 30 days. And I took 29 days and 23 hours and 59 minutes, 59 seconds to go to all those meetings. And I tell this one in my story sometimes. I tried to go to all speaker meetings because you don't have to talk to anybody and no one's going to talk to you generally. Well, that where and when in Charlotte lied. And one of them was a big book study with what I swore was like the senior citizens of America. And they are coming up to me, giving me this hug. Oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, you're fine. I'm like, I'm just here to get a signature on a piece of paper. I don't need you people. And that was my mentality around it. Like I remember sitting in a class and they said, "Do you think you have a problem?" And I said, "No, I just got caught." And when in actuality, you just have to get real to get right. And I wasn't willing to get real in that moment. Um, like I said, that same judge on the first DUI was there on video arraignment for the second DUI 2 years later. And I remember very vividly sitting in that courtroom the first time, and he says, "Young man, if you don't do something about this, you're going to get another one." I'll be damned. I got another one. And he raised my bond. That's what kept me in jail for 7 days.
Mm. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
What when you're in there and obviously you went through the first DUI, you didn't feel much of it. You were just trying to check the boxes and, deal with the repercussions and kind of move on. What lies, I guess, were you telling yourself during that time?
Yeah, I just got caught. I don't have a problem. Everybody drinks. Everybody does this. I'm 20, 25, 26. I mean, this is just normal. No, nobody normal drinks at 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 3 o'clock in the morning every day. That's just not normal. That's not normal. And I just wanted to fit in, have fun, and that's what I wanted to do. And then July 25th comes around 2018. And leading up to that, though, I had moments of sobriety. Like I had moments where the pain got a little bit greater than the pleasure. And I said, there was moments where, yeah, I went months without drinking and I was going to AA because I reached out to people who I had met in that first 5 meetings that, something clicked. And I remember walking into some of these meetings and saying, man, I want what these people have, but I wasn't willing to do the work that they did to get there. Like I was 2 days and wanted 12 years, just like they had. Like I wanted the life, but I didn't do the work that got them there. And So yeah, I had moments of it, but it was always fleeting. Like I never truly did what I've done, the step work, doing a true fourth step and getting the crap out on paper. Here's my resentments. Here's who I hate. Here's who I need to work on for me to be better. And in those months leading up to that July 25th date, I mean, I just didn't want to be here anymore. I mean, I started drinking again in April. And from April to July, it went all hell broke loose. And I just didn't want to be here. Like multiple days where I just wanted to end it. And um, and then July 25th, I'm going 110 miles an hour down the interstate in Charlotte, right at South Boulevard on 485. And hit the car in front of me. Thankfully, knock on wood, no one was seriously injured. But I got out of the car that night, called my parents, and just said, "Hey, I'm going to walk across traffic to end my life. I don't want to be here anymore. There's just no, I don't want to be here." And I walked across traffic 2 or 3 times, and something kept pushing me across. And I think that's God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. And then walked into the woods and fell in that ravine 35 foot straight to the bottom, and came out with just a scratch above my eye. That was it. And no broken bones, no nothing. I remember the cops, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department was like, come out the same way you went in. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened. They said, well, we'll send in the dogs. I said, I'll figure it out. And I did, and failed the sobriety tests, went to jail, spent 7 days there, got moved from the nice cushioned posh jail downtown to the old Statesville jail. Was chained and shackled to 2 other people waddling down the hallway like a duck. And, humble yourself or be humiliated. That was a humbling moment. And I just remember, like, I had that God moment in jail. Like, I just can't do this anymore. Can't live like this. This is not how I want to live my life. And we talk about a spiritual awakening. That was it. Like, I remember getting down on my knees and just saying, I can't, you can, and I'm going to let you. And from that moment, like, it's been really powerful since then. And got out about 7 days later, and went to rehab at Hope Valley up in Dobson, North Carolina, up near Mount Airy, Mayberry. And spent 28 days there and got real, and actually answered an alcohol substance abuse test, like, honestly. And it came back like severe. The first one was like, you drink every day? No, not really. This one, I mean, yeah, I was honest as I could get. It's like, crap hit the fan, and I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to stand behind this mask of, oh, I'm sober, oh, I'm not sober. I was going to AA meetings and drinking at the same time. Like, it all just, the doors just flung wide open, and everybody could see who I really was. And that was a
Yeah.
powerful one. I didn't have to hide behind that anymore.
Yeah. That's good. That is powerful. Certainly it's an identity shift in its own because you were, for the longest time, refusing to believe, that you had a problem or, that this was as severe as what may have, led to believe. And once you had to recognize the problems, because, what else were you going to do? You know,
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy to continue to deny the obvious.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, when you look back at that version of yourself, like, how do you feel? Like, do you feel compassion for him?
I would say that version. So I do a lot of counseling and therapy now, which I was like, oh, that's for weak people.
Right.
No, I am the best version of myself today because of that, because I've learned why some things I did what I did. So, and I could say I wish I did it back then, but I wouldn't be here right now on this conversation. Everything happens in sequential order for a reason. Um, I do, just like the kid on the inside. that a lot of it stems from that. And, going back and just saying, hey, it's going to be okay. Because in those moments, it didn't feel okay.
Mm.
And that's probably what I would go back and tell that version. And keep going. Don't give up. Because there was multiple times where I was just ready to throw in the towel.
Sure. I mean, you tried.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
What did that 7 days? Because I've only spent, a single night in jail. So
Mm,
what does 7 days in jail really teach
mm,
you?
mm. Very sobering experience, no pun intended. But I needed that. Like my parents could have bailed me out, but they didn't. They kept me there. A very valuable lesson in there's consequences for your actions. And then had they not bailed me out, I would have sat there till my next court date, which would have been 90 days. But I got out and put one foot in front of the other, did the 28 days, moved to Asheville. Because that's where they asked, what are you going to do after this when I was in rehab? And it's like, well, I guess go back to Charlotte. That would have been the worst possible plan for me. I needed to do a geographical cure is not always the answer. But it can be if you do it right. So moving to Asheville, I didn't have a car, driver's license. I had a book bag, a pair of jeans, a couple shirts, and some tennis shoes. That's what I moved here with, and got dropped off at a halfway house you go way up North Louisiana, Emma Road, up on Conscious Way, and it was a 20-minute walk to the bus stop every day. It was rain, snow, sleet, or shine. You were walking, and but jail was there was an inmate in there that kind of sat down and was talking to me, and he was like, I'm going to be in here forever, but you have an opportunity to go out and change your life. You're not going to be in here forever. What are you going to do with that opportunity? Perspective change. Like, wow, it you have an opportunity to change. Whether you take that opportunity, and this is him talking to me, he said, whether you take that opportunity or not, it's up to you. But he said, you don't have to be like me. And I think that was just like whew, I have an opportunity here. And I took that one. I took that opportunity. Was it hard? 100% it was hard all the time. I had to ride the Greyhound bus back and forth to Charlotte, and that was before it had a direct line. It was
Right.
9 hours to get to Charlotte on the Greyhound bus line back in 2018, 19. And it's like, I don't know how I did it. There are some days I look back on it, I'm like, how did I do this?
You just did it, man.
And you just did it. And
Hard.
when the pain gets greater than the pleasure, you make changes.
Mm.
The pain was so great. The pain was so great.
So you felt like there's, a certain part of you that probably died in jail
Oh
and a
yeah.
new part of you that was born,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. I got a second chance at life by going through hell and torment. I was reborn. Yeah, you're right. I was reborn. That's a good way of putting it. I was reborn and I got this second chance.
Whoa. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm over here like tearing up.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's something about consequences that really like strip the ego. I've had seasons too where, you know, the image that I was protecting had completely collapsed. You get forced to face, the identity and reality of, your actions. And,
Yeah.
I can see that, maybe you being in that jail was like the first moment of like real honesty for you because, having someone else tell you their reality of, I'm going to be in here forever to you, where he's given you hope and perseverance and, just opening your eyes to the opportunity of,
Yeah.
you know, impossibilities of what's next.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
So let's kind of shift into, now and your identity and the transformation that happened. Did did getting sober change how you define ambition?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I had any ambition back prior to this. It was just sort of going with the flow and where's my next drink coming from. But I did anything and everything to be able to put my life on a better trajectory and to not be in the same spot I was 2016, 2012 to 2018. Whatever it took, whatever it took. And I got that burst of ambition, I guess, from from that. Like I was not going to be in the same spot ever, 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 ever again. And that's why I went to 110 AA meetings in the first 90 days when I moved here. I went to 10 a week. And that was catching the bus. That was walking to some. My very first night, I didn't know where I was going. I walked an hour and a half to an AA meeting. What? I don't even what? I don't even know who that person was. But when when you want something so bad, you'll do anything, whatever it takes to get it. And that's what I remember talking to a counselor in the rehab, and I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes right now to get this and to make sure that it sticks. And it did.
And we're all extremely happy that it did.
and it could go that fast too. I mean, I recognize that too. This isn't just like what you said in the beginning. I still go to four or five meetings a week. My home group is in downtown Nashville, and um, I still sponsor people. I still speak all the time. I chair meetings and um, the men's challenge of the Smokies. They just came to my church yesterday. They're out in Franklin, and I've spoken at their retreat, and it's remembering what it was like because I'm almost 8 years away from it. We as alcoholics have a built-in forgetter. We forget, even though this time it's hard to forget how bad it really was. Like I have forgotten in the past. It's really hard to forget this last one. There was a lot of pain and a lot of consequences, but um, yeah, it's just it's a powerful thing.
I'm curious. I know, just from your posts and stuff that you go to church regularly.
Mhm.
When did that become a part of your recovery?
Yep. So when I moved here, I first started. I was working at Chick-fil-A on Merriman Avenue before I even got into real estate. Um, and one of the workers there was the music minister, and he did like part time at Chick-fil-A, and he was the music at Connection Point Church of God in Woodfin,
Yeah.
and he was the youth pastor as well. And he's like, "Why don't you come to a Wednesday night church service with me?" And I did and loved it. And now I'm regular attendee there. I'm on the pastor's council, one of two of us that are on that in that group, um, making decisions like major decisions for the church. And someone 8 years ago was wearing an orange jumpsuit. Proof positive that you can be anywhere you want to be, doing anything you want to do, by putting one foot in front of the other. But I've been with them. I've been in that church, 2019, and love it. And it's just a good group of people, small, about 100 people on a good day, and it's just been a really good place to call home. And the pastor and I are really good friends. So
Yeah. I'm glad you. I'm glad you found the Lord, and
yeah,
it's been a huge part of my recovery as well. Obviously, I didn't. I don't think I ever got to the point where it was, I never got a DUI or DWI. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of these calls back when I was like, actually dealing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but looking back, God was always there. Like you mentioned earlier, you had to go through these things. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a setup, for
Oh,
you to
yeah.
succeed though. And you persevered, dude, and I'm happy for you. And in the book of James, it says, I think chapter 4 says, humble yourself before the Lord and he will lift you up. And I truly think that recovery starts, when your ego dies. And you can't really recover while you're defending yourself, defending your past life, or you can't heal while blaming others, and you can't really grow while protecting your image either.
Yeah.
And biblically, your elevation really follows your humility and not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think that lines up directly with what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Discipline now and freedom later.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, who else would walk, an hour and 30 minutes to AA?
So very true.
Do you feel now that you are where you are, there's a misconception about, people, professionals who have gone through something like this?
um.
Sort of like a stigma, I guess.
Oh yeah, of course. I think there can be. Um, but I think that's why I also talk about it. Like I don't hide it.
Right.
Um, I I mean, I have had people reach out to me over the years and say, "Man, you share too much. Share too much in record according to what? Like, you want to know why I share? Like, for the still sick and suffering alcoholic out there who's dying on the inside, like I was, and won't talk to anybody.
Mm.
That's why. And you never know who this is going to help. And I air my dirty laundry every single day.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, if someone doesn't, if in my business, if someone doesn't want to work with me, which I've never had anybody not want to work with me, even when I didn't even have a car, most of them drove me around or I Ubered or rode the bus. Um, it's that's on them, not me. And that's what I've learned is that's an internal struggle with them and how they feel right now versus anything that I'm saying.
Amen. Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, being honest is everything. I mean, I feel like that's, you're just genuine and honest about your story, who you are, how it shaped you. And yeah, I mean, why wouldn't anyone want to work with you because based on that? That just shows a lot about who you are as a character.
Yeah. And then it's, 6, 7, 8 months after I've even sold a house or closed a house. And I'll get phone calls like, I know you sold us a house, but my son or daughter can't quit drinking. Can you help with that too?
Oh,
That that's the next level of when things got real. And that's happened so many times. Or I go and speak at a market center or at an event, and you never know because you'll get that one phone call on the way home. I know how to sell houses, but I can't quit drinking. Can you help with that too? Yes, yes, I can. And that's even more important to me than going out and selling a house. Like I'll sell houses, yes, but the tagline that I use and I sell houses for fun and I change lives for a living.
it's good.
That's that's what I do today. The selling houses part just funds my life and is a vehicle to help people.
Sure. So what's the number one advantage that sobriety has given you?
I'm able to show up. That didn't happen like for a lot of my life. I've been able to look at myself, um, and how can I be better? How can I communicate more effectively? I think in the last 4 months, I've really been looking at that, and how can I be a better dad? How can I just be a better human being in general? Um, and that's what it's done.
Do you have do you have anything that you do now that's like non-negotiable for not only your recovery but also your business?
Um, yeah, I mean, my meeting schedule is the first thing that goes on the calendar. Meetings and church are the first two things that get scheduled every week on my calendar, and that's it. And even on days like there are days I don't want to go. My sponsor will tell you there are days I text him. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not coming tonight, and then I usually end up going because I know how important it is, and it's training that muscle that. And and it's not about me. I'm going to hear someone else share and see where they're at, and then maybe I recognize that. Oh, okay, maybe my day wasn't so bad. Um, but it's just that simple for me today. But those two things go on there first. They're non-negotiable. That's it.
So for other realtors out there, what does you being the number one agent with KW for the last 3 years, tell us about like your routine. Tell us about, I mean, you don't have to share your state secrets or
Okay.
anything, but just give us a little bit more about, what that day to day looks like.
Yep. So I started in 2019 February. Stephen Cooley and I are really good friends. And he said, "I think you can sell houses." And I said, "I think you're crazy. I don't have a car. I don't have a driver's license." And he says, "I think that sounds like an excuse." And
Probably insane for you to hear. You're like, yeah, it's a
yeah,
good excuse.
it's a good one. It worked. And so he got me in touch with Jeff Stewart at the time, and I joined and uh, sold like 2 homes in the first month. Like it was pretty wild. And then it just got better and better. Um, I think about 200 homes sold, and by next month after, I'll have about 100 million in closed volume in 6 years.
It's
So,
amazing, Gil.
but that came at sacrifices. We'll get to that in a minute. There were sacrifices that came from that, but um, day to day is talking to people. I think I started out with 10 contacts a day. We tracked it. I had a coach early on, and we tracked it, and we saw that like in 90 days, $6 million worth of business came from talking to 10 people a day, Monday through Friday, no weekends, no holidays.
And those are conversations, not dials.
Yeah, I've never called expireds for sell by owners.
Yep.
The high I in me likes to be liked. So, that just didn't work for me. I did try it, but it just didn't work for me. It's playing golf with people. It's finding what you love. Lead generation doesn't have to be hard. Find something that you love and go all in. So Sphere and database and agent to agent referrals have been my two biggest ones for, excuse me, for the last 5 years. They have fed my business. And, excuse me. And, that's it. I don't really spam them with a bunch of emails, but I do call them. I do see them out. A lot of my business comes from church. A lot of my business comes from AA. Those are two sources here in Asheville that come from me. I travel and speak and teach and do this right here, and then I teach classes as well. Agent referrals come in from that. And now, after 200 home sales, you have past clients. But lead generation, find what works. I'm the first one at the office. I used to be the last one to leave. I'm generally not the last one to leave anymore. Um, but I don't work Sundays. I don't like if I don't have to, unless your house is burning down or something, your head's on fire. I ain't working. Not doing it. That is a day that I don't do anymore. Um, I have and I will, but I 95% of the time I don't. Um, but I'm the first one at the office, and it helps that I take Drew to school every morning. So I'm heads there by 7:45, and then I'm here at the office by 8. And then the day gets started. I schedule it out. It's not. I was working on it last night. It's on my bedside table, but my calendar is still paper. I use the phone too, but my calendar is still paper, and I do here's my 5 business tasks, and here's my 5 personal tasks that I need to complete this week to hit the goal. I'm very structured and very regimented. And now that we've added YouTube to the schedule of events, um, a month into YouTube, and I think I'm 6 long form videos in and like 15 shorts, but that gets scheduled in, like filming all day Wednesday, um, to be all done through just about the middle of March. I'll have all my content done. Um, and it's another full time job. But it's time blocked in. Here's what I work on. Like today at 1 o'clock is reviewing this, or tomorrow, Tuesday, reviewing the scripts with Cindy, my assistant, and that's what it looks like. We go on listing appointments. We're setting that. I probably don't do like the 9 to 12. Like that's not my. As long as and today is 25 contacts a day. If I can talk to 25 people, I usually go out in the world, in the wild, and talk to people there too. I go and visit and um, make talk to. I've talked to 3 or 4 people just already on the phone this morning. Um, but find what works for you. There's no secret formula. It's finding what works for you and just being consistent. There's the key word, consistency.
Mhm.
We missed that piece. Consistency. If you're going to do open houses, consistently do them. If you're going to call your database, consistently talk to them. And that's what my day-to-day looks like.
I
I
know that
know.
there's people who are going to listen to this who are inspired by it, who have maybe heard your story, but maybe not quite like this. And it's really good to hear about consistency because it's something that I've really struggled with. I have severe ADHD. And so I think my old business partner, Colin O'Berry, said it best. He calls it shiny object syndrome. You just have all these things, just floating around that you have to do or you want to do. And it's about really just, like you said, finding what works for you, digging in and being consistent with it. And honestly, I mean, it's still something that, whenever I've been in real estate, I'm like, okay, now I want to get my contractor's license. And I've been working on that. And it's like, oh, but I want to start a sober podcast and get that going too. And it's a lot, but at the end of the day, like I supplement my income with a lot of different things and I'm able to do a lot of different things. And it keeps life interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I were to pick maybe, just one of those things and really, just stay diligent with it, then they might blow up quicker. They might become more of a success quicker. I could get my contractor's license quicker if I were just study all the time. But for me, like, it's about like the reach. I think for me, it really does uh, just help stimulate myself knowing that like I'm creating, multiple things at a time. And it may go against what most coaches say about, being consistent, but um, I'll be honest, it's really rewarding for me to be able to sit here with you, with other people who have gone through similar things and just discuss, the nuances of failure and addiction and, reviving your life into, what it is today.
Absolutely. And you found what works for you.
Right.
Really it's working. Something you're doing something right. So
Something. All right. Yeah.
it's finding, even if it's 3 things, I'm not going to do 10 things, but I'm now doing 3 and I'm
Mhm.
going to do them at a really high level, and you are too. So,
Yeah.
you got to pat yourself on the back too.
Thanks, brother. I try to every day. So tell me, you in the midst of your upbringing, or I'm sorry, your uprise with real estate, you got married, you had a son. What does sobriety show up like in fatherhood?
Yeah. It was, my world was all about work. My world was all about, um, being number one. That was my world for a long time. And, I missed a lot of Drew being little. I'd have to call a spade and be honest. I missed a lot of that. And I'm making up for lost time now. He's 4 years old today. And it's
Today's his birthday.
today's his birthday. Yeah,
Happy birthday, Drew.
I know. So and it's just been tough. From that perspective, looking back, I can't live there, but I get to show up for Drew today, and I provided a great life for them. But I wasn't always present. I think that's what I can look back on and say. But today, last 4 months on, um, you know, just call a spade, going through a divorce right now too, and um, I didn't find it necessary to drink when like the world kind of caves in a little bit. Um, Marriage is hard. I think anybody that's married would probably say, "Oh, well, you're not telling me anything I don't know." Um, and finding your sober community, finding your people, whether that be through church, through AA, I found both, um, to really like lift up during that hard time. Um, because yeah, was it challenging? 100% it was. Did I even know a whole lot about how to be a dad? No, because someone else did a lot of that while I was working. Um, but yeah, there's nothing better than getting on a FaceTime call or hearing it in person when you're taking Drew to school in the morning. I love you, Dad, and I want to be with you. Like, wow, those are two things that change my life like every day when I hear it. I miss you. I want to be with you. In the midst of all the chaos, I did something right. One being I didn't drink. I'm able to show up. If I go drink today, my disease is doing one-arm push-ups in the parking lot waiting for me to screw up. And it is. And that's reality. That if I go drink today, I can guarantee you, no one is going to see me anymore. Because I will be under the bridge in a gutter somewhere dead. Because this disease, it's only getting worse in my body, and I'm an addictive personality anyways, and I think there's some success that comes out of that too. It's not a total like horrific diagnosis, because it kind of got me where I'm at right now. Like, man, it's addictive. I want to keep doing more and more and more and more, and I've learned over time that more and more and more is not better.
Mm.
And do I live a great life? Yes. Do I need to sell 100 homes a year to do that? No, I do not. Do I need to sell 1,000 homes? No. I live a great life, and recognizing that, and my time. Time is something that I'm not getting. I can go and make more money. I'm not worried about that, but time I can't get back. So making those moments really count is what sobriety does for me today, because I get to show up and be a part of, and just be the best dad that I can be.
How old are you, Bill?
I will be 36 this year.
Okay. At 36 years old, dude. It's I mean, I think we are all getting a little bit more conscious about time, because it just feels like it's just gets away from you real quick. But like, you know, I think most people feel that we always have more time, or at least we validate it somehow with convincing ourselves that, we're always going to have more time to do this, do that, let's just do this today. It's okay.
Yep.
It's the most important thing that when I look back at my life too, how I was able to recognize what I was doing in myself, because every single day I would do this, I would do this, I would do this. It's like if I wake up and I yesterday I promised myself not to smoke pot first thing in the morning. It's like, okay, well, today's just another day. I'll just, rip a bowl and, go
Mm,
on. Like it
yeah.
was not good. I created a pattern that I couldn't escape from because I validated the fact that I was young, that I had the time, that I could do, all these other things with my life later. Hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And when I became a dad, I thought responsibility would like fix me. Like I thought that that would just, kick me into a whole different level of discipline and consistency in my life. But really, I just started numbing through it. Like I wasn't really sober and shed that shame to actually like lead my family, lead my home, lead my daughter. And by grace and a lot of work, 8 years after Megan and I's divorce, uh, we restored our marriage. And it was through sobriety because I was living out of my car actually in Charlotte, sleeping in the LA Fitness parking lot, getting up and showering, shaving, and working out and doing all those things there, and then going to a coffee shop or the office and just working. And it wasn't it wasn't working for me. But at the same time, I made it work because I was refusing to change, the inevitable.
Yep.
And yeah, whenever I there was an instance where my daughter and Megan's other son, Malachi, had saw something that they shouldn't have seen. There was like a stabbing in their neighborhood, and they like literally saw the guy running out, with the knife. And long
Mm,
story short, she was like, "Hey, the kids are really freaked out. Like, they want you to come over and and hang out for the night." So I came over. Her and I had some tea, and then slowly our marriage, slowly started coming back together. And he again, I'm referencing, what you said previously about the order of things happening.
yep.
And I mean, you can't, divine intervention happens whether you want it to happen or not. And in this case, I didn't really want it to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have my marriage restored because there was so much pain involved in that. But honestly, it's the best thing that could have happened. And it wouldn't have happened if sobriety didn't happen first.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Life is a wild ride.
Yeah. Indeed, it is.
So what's because obviously we still go through life, we still experience it. Emotions sometimes, are at a more high than what they should be.
Oh,
So what's your go-to like discipline whenever, your emotions spiral? How do you deal with that?
yeah. I think it's practicing the pause today as best as I can. When you get in the moment, that's not always easy. Um, but making sure that I'm hitting an AA meeting. If that happens, if my life is feeling spiraling, or reaching out, like my pastor in my church and I probably talk every day. Um, he checks in on me when like, hey, were you reading today? What's your prayer life like? All that stuff. He's checking in on that portion, and then my sponsor is checking in on the the life stuff and my other craziness of my life. But it's making sure that I don't isolate today. That is where bad things happen when will happen. When I choose to just stay home and sit in misery or spiral, or that's when things can go haywire when I choose to get up and move my feet and go that way. um, Go hit golf balls. I still like to play golf occasionally. It's a little cold right now. I need about a 65-degree rule for me to go out and play golf, but um, but just staying active, not just sitting at home and being miserable. Um, and yeah, and just keep moving.
Have has your thoughts and idea around like legacy, has that changed
Well, yeah,
since you are where you are now?
yeah, and I now I'm a dad. Now I have Drew, and I think my whole perspective has changed. Like I said, 4 months on, and even this. it's not about just being the best. It's in career wise, that's just not as important to me right now. Um, Spending time with Drew and being a dad is more important to me right now, and experiences that I can provide for him is what's most important for me. Um, do I still love selling real estate? Of course I do. I love my job. I love what I get to do every day. Um, but there's this counterbalance of life and work that I always just had the work part, and it's recognizing that, oh wow, I actually do like this other side of the world too. Of, oh wow, I can be a dad too. It's not a or, but it's an and I can be both. I don't have to pick which one I want because I picked one for a long time, but it's recognizing that they can both exist in the same world.
Yeah. Amen, dude. So just out of curiosity, when Drew is old enough to understand your story, what is it that you hope that he learns from it?
He's going to have to make his own decisions. I can't protect him from going out and drinking today. Or not,
Right.
well, today I can. He's 4 years old. He doesn't need to drink today. But when he's of age, or whenever he goes to his first party or his first event and there's going to be alcohol there, he's going to have to make that decision on his own. I can tell him what it's like. Someone could have told me what it was like too, and I wouldn't have listened until I had to hit the pavement face first. And so um it's to make his own decisions. I can't guard that. I can just only give him my experience with what this is going to be like. And both of your parents are in recovery. Um Likelihood could be strong, could be not. You could miss that gene. Um but we'll see. We'll find out. We got about 14 more years. 17
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I started, yeah, it's probably right when my parents divorced was really where it started getting to that point for me when I was 18. So if someone's listening right now, Bill, what successful on the outside but silently struggling on the inside, what would you tell them?
Talk. Talk to someone, whether that be you or me or someone. Like, we've been there. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, I didn't necessarily know that. Like, I hid behind this mask because my ego wouldn't let me talk. Ego deflation is the best thing on the planet. It doesn't have to end in a DUI. It doesn't have to end with going to jail. Can they be great places? Rock bottom can be the firm foundation that you rebuild your life on. Absolutely. But it doesn't have to be that bad. But there's help. There's help available. It doesn't. Miserable is not doesn't have to be where you land, but it can be where you springboard from.
Yeah, that's true. Bill, thank you for being vulnerable and thank you for your honesty. And uh, thank you for choosing to recover, brother, out loud so that when someone else is suffering, they see you and they don't have to suffer in silence.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out one thing. You mentioned very early on in this podcast that you were basically looking at some of these guys in recovery and just wishing to be them. Isn't it funny? Now in life, many people look at you and probably say the same thing.
It's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
So, in this, what you shared today, it's not easy, obviously, and I appreciate you being on, on video and doing this for the sober broker. This is really what it's all about. It's not glorifying the fall or, dramatizing the wreckage amongst the way. And it's really about honoring, the courage it takes to change. And to everyone listening, especially the one who looks successful on the outside, but feels exhausted on the inside, we're grateful you're here too. And there's hope. You're not beyond restoration. And Bill, you're a prime example of that. And thank you again for being on the air. And I hope to see you again.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.